Okay, because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone. And we are saying, I said thanks.
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank
president, $350 billion.
you voted for your
All right. Back again for another fantastic episode of The Fireside. Let's get some. All right. As I've mentioned to you a couple times this week, I feel like there's only really two things worth talking about.
Yep.
It's the fucking verbal sparring in the Oval Office.
Sure.
And
Which I heard led to fisticuffs. led to a rap from the
It was
on the
a
head from
spanking.
Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary.
Definitely
been
a
amazing.
spanking.
Yeah.
That would've been fucking
I did
amazing.
not. I've heard about it. I've heard the buzz about it. I have not seen it. I purposely waited for us to meet for this show.
Yeah.
To view it live.
So we'll go through that a little bit. I think we should probably talk about the big Jeffrey Epstein dud.
Yep. I have a little bit of information. There's not a whole lot on that, but I have some stuff ready to go for that.
I got a few topics in the rundown and a little bit of tech. And
Okay.
aside from that, let's fucking roll, man.
Let's do it.
So you didn't get to see what happened. Adam texted us kind of, I don't know if, did you watch it live, Adam?
No, but my father-in-law sent it to me right as it was happening, so I caught the tail end of it.
And he sent us
Yeah.
the video that was released as it happened. And I never had a chance to watch it all the way up until now.
Oh
I still
my
haven't
God,
watched it.
dude.
So I watched the whole thing live just because it was supposed to be, he was there to sign the mineral deals.
Sure.
Like we're going to get a ceasefire, all that shit. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be pretty historic. Like I'm going to watch it. I never watch those things live.
Yeah.
And I just happened to. And then towards the end, like I was kind of like zoning out, doing some research. And then all of a sudden I hear them like voices raised. I'm like, oh,
That sounds like a scuffle.
Was
like,
your
yeah.
jaw just on the floor? Like, I cannot
I was
believe
kind of
this
like
is
wide eyed
happening.
the whole time. Like,
Yeah. This is happening
Did
right
you
now.
hear? Did you hear voices raised and immediately get that feeling like, oh, I know where this goes. What's
kinda.
who's going? What's
yeah,
going
you
on?
know, you're out in
Yeah.
public at a restaurant or something like, oh shit.
Yeah, this thing go down.
All of a sudden you're on alert. So I watched it live and it was entertaining. So I had some different thoughts live than I did kind of watching it back several different times.
Okay.
But we'll kind of get your take, Steve, since you hadn't seen it. You
Okay.
can get your raw
Strap
reaction.
in, bro. Here we
So
go.
Adam, go with A1. So this is Zelenskyy arriving at the Oval Office. Donald Trump greets him. Full honors of a foreign dignitary coming to the White House.
Okay.
He's all dressed up today.
So he's already cracking on
Is
him.
he kind of bashing on him? He's
Yes.
like, oh, look at you, all dressed up. He's got a fucking turtleneck on and jeans.
Yeah, like here, you're in the fucking White House. We're here to sign this historic deal. Like, oh, nice of you to dress
Yeah,
up for the
thanks.
occasion.
Oh.
And he says, yes, Mr. President, I have many clothes.
So, like a little bit of background. Trump, I don't think likes Zelenskyy.
Sure.
Just off jump, he doesn't
Yeah.
like Zelenskyy, and then he shows up wearing that, which I don't have an issue with. Whatever. Like you let Tom Fetterman walk around the halls of Congress in fucking
A
sweatpants.
hoodie and flip-flops.
And you let Elon Musk give speeches in the Oval Office while he's wearing that fucking hat and his
sunglasses.
kid dangling off his fucking neck and the sunglasses and no suit. So if you're cool with Elon doing it, be cool with him doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't have an issue with that, but apparently Trump did. I think just him not liking him in the first place led to like,
Yeah, he's just
oh,
got ammo.
what's up, wee man?
Right.
Nice fucking suit.
Yeah.
Already knocking him down a peg, dude.
Nice turtleneck.
So yeah, like
Oh.
already like,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Just another
He's
thing.
like, you're in my house.
Thanks for getting
now."
cleaned up.
And then to follow up on his attire, Adam, play A2.
My second question for President Zelenskyy.
So the pool of reporters in
Oh,
the Oval
shit.
Office here is about to ask
Wow.
Zelenskyy a question.
Do you ever? Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting.
I don't
the
have
dignity of
such.
this office.
I will wear costume after this war will finish. Yes.
I love that. I will wear the costume after the war is finished. Like, okay, dude, you
I'm
didn't.
not going to dress the part until the war's over.
You did not fly here in a fucking Black Hawk helicopter
Right.
over fucking war-torn Europe. You came here in a private jet and
Yeah.
landed in D.C. You could have had time to put a suit on.
You look like a scrub, bro.
You didn't just walk off the battlefield. You know what I mean?
Do you think, because that seems like a a very aggressive question.
Totally.
For a reporter to ask it. Do you think Trump ahead of time was like, hey, fair game, like fucking light this guy up?
Yes, I do. Okay. Like,
Because that seems very almost not professional from
Oh, it
reporters.
totally
reporters of the
Totally
White
was
House,
not
like,
professional.
it just his tone was like, "Hey, bro, do you even own a suit?" Like,
yeah,
the fuck?
yeah.
So that my initial impression watching this whole thing, it almost seemed like a setup to at some point we're gonna fucking pile on this dude.
Yeah.
That was my initial thing. I'm
Okay.
like, wow, they're really like,
Because
this
at
seems
first,
weird.
for me, first glance, it seems like they're kind of like setting him up.
That reporter right there specifically,
Yeah.
I'm like, that just my exact thought. I'm like, that's a very aggressive stance from a
Yeah.
reporter in the Oval Office who should be asking, like, how does it feel to be here to sign
How
this?
about
historic
foreign
deal?"
relations?
Like, hey,
event?
bro.
Yeah. You even own a
Here's your
suit?
fucking suit, man. So that was like a little bit of pretext. The meeting is 50 minutes long.
Okay.
Zelensky did
5-0?
5-0 ish. And then Zelensky did a lot of talking throughout the whole thing. Almost like kind of like laying out his case here, like in the media,
Why he needs money.
why he needs money, why
Yeah.
certain things with Putin aren't going to work. And then Adam, go ahead and play A3. Pause this just real quick. This is the exchange right here. This is just before the exchange begins. And you're going to see like this. They're wrapping it up right now.
Okay.
They're about to be done.
Ben cordial.
Ben cordial the
Mhm.
whole time. Donald Trump says, "Hey, last question," implying that, hey, this is our last question.
Who'd win in a fight?
And yeah,
Me or you?
I still don't think Trump can fight at all. I got to believe Zelensky's going to take him.
Okay.
I-
Zelensky's a little guy.
He's a little guy, maybe wired.
But he's got years on him. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All
Sorry
right,
to
play it.
interrupt.
The world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe.
This is right here. They're asking him,
wanna
"Are you
see
aligned with
if we
Putin?" He's
get
like, "I'm not
this
aligned with
thing done."
anybody."
You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough.
Classic. I'd be so
But you're
tough.
never gonna get
toughest
into it
ever.
anyway, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So
So one more question. JD Vance like, no, fuck that question. I got a question.
Yeah.
And he jumps in because he knew it
Oh, that was Vance?
That was
Okay.
JD Vance
Okay.
that jumps
Right
in
there.
right now. So what you're hearing now is JD Vance.
For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America
Fair
a great
point.
country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
And then, so JD, that's all he said.
Mhm.
And he's kind of like,
Diplomacy.
yeah, diplomacy. Like,
Yeah.
because this whole time he's saying diplomacy is not going to work. We need security. That's his whole thing.
That's
We need
what
security.
Zelensky's
that's
saying?
what Zelensky's
Okay.
angle at.
I
We
said,
need
that was a very
security.
diplomatic presidential answer.
It was.
Neutral, bipartisan.
And then Zelensky is like, okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Listen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
He's like, oh, yeah. You're going to let
Yeah?
me speak? Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
This is when he
my
starts
press
acting like a
conference.
jackass.
Okay.
he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied.
So right there, he did give Trump a little bit of respect, saying, God bless, President
Yeah.
Trump's going to
He's
stop
here
it.
now. He's going to stop him. But he also cited him as being one of the people who let it happen with Obama. And
but I feel
him
like
and
he did
Biden.
like kiss the ring a little
Sure.
bit there.
And took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah,
So
Trump was wrong
he
about that. It was
killed-
2014.
Yeah, but,
That's exactly
but-
right.
yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal.
So I was going to say, so Zelensky wasn't in office in 2014, right? That's only been in the last
I can't remember when he took
5
office, to be
years.
honest.
Because he said 2019 he signed the deal. That would be 6 years
Yeah, he
ago.
wasn't there in 2014. I'm trying to remember when he did get there. It's irregardless.
But he's just giving the history
But
lesson.
he's
of
giving
how
the
long
history,
it's
like, because,
gone.
yeah,
Okay.
Putin did
Right.
invade in 2014. I don't know if Trump was so focused on, like, no, I wasn't on the stage then, so nothing could have happened.
Right.
But yeah, Zelensky's correct. It was 2014 when Putin invaded.
Okay.
But right now, he's sitting there completely making his point in front of the media. He's trying to debate this, trying to negotiate here in front of the media.
Right.
That's not what this is about. This
Yeah.
is about some question and answers. This is our puff piece. Hey, look at
Right.
us, two great leaders. Because beforehand, all the dignitaries get together, like Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and whoever's working for Ukraine, whatever equivalent that is. They all get together and they hammer out these deals. And then the heads of state get to come together and say, hey, great job. Look at us. We're
Yeah.
fucking heroes. That's what this is.
Maybe
This-
answer 1 or 2 questions,
Exactly.
shake hands, be about your day.
But being Trump, it's going to be, an hour
Yeah,
fucking
sure,
long presser. Not the place to sit there and try to negotiate and give a history lesson, right?
Right.
In the man's office.
Right.
Signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy?
Sounds like a you problem, man.
What do you mean?
So what he's saying though, like, I don't like diplomacy is not going to work. A ceasefire is not going to work. We need security guarantees if this is going to work.
Even though we're talking about a ceasefire and diplomacy.
Ceasefire is not what he wants.
Right. He wants money.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are not
President, Mr.
strong-
President, with respect,
Here we go,
I think
Steve.
it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American
Hell yeah.
media.
Good job,
Right now,
Vance.
You guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be
Have you seen those videos where
Yeah,
they're,
they're
like,
I saw
fucking-
one
they're
yesterday. I had
snatching
no
them off the
idea.
street? Guys are sitting there like screaming, crying, reaching
Oh
out
my-
to their
I
loved
had no
ones.
idea.
And if
Yeah.
you're so worried about your countrymen that are getting killed since 2014 on the front lines, and you've made a point to talk about that multiple times, why would you even try to debate that or refute that?
He sits there and says a ceasefire won't work long term. We need security. So like, okay, maybe long term that doesn't work. But you're telling
It
me
gives
right
you time
now,
to initiate a deal.
right? Maybe
Hello?
maybe the killing can stop for a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months while we hammer this
Yeah.
out. Maybe we can stop war right now, and not one single more of my countrymen has to die today.
Right.
Right.
And I
Sounds
get
reasonable.
there's a point, like, especially if you're competitive or as a man or whatever, however you want to word it, but there's a point where you hang on to the sting of the stuff from before because you're a principle guy. The principle of, hey man, we've lost countrymen. You invaded us. Like, I'm not letting that go.
Sure.
But after how long, especially like he's saying, like if there's short people on the front lines where they're conscripting all these people,
And they
just taking them-
are. That's a fact.
how do you not go, okay? And as bad as it sounds, but at some degree, we got to cut our losses
Yeah.
and look forward to protect our future. Like, let's
Exactly.
stop
Fuck yeah.
worrying about what's already lost and go, fuck it, man.
Dude.
Like, how do we get better?
Those
Exactly.
recruitment videos,
That's
I
wild,
had
dude.
never seen. I saw the first one I've ever
They're
seen.
not recruitment
yesterday.
videos. They're snatch and
Yeah.
grabs on the
Oh
street.
my god, dude!
Those are
They're
dudes
being
that are
voluntold.
nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Those are dudes that are trying to dot.
It was so
their army's
sad.
conscripted. Like
Yeah.
Zelensky keeps making the argument that my country wants to fight, and probably a lot of them do. But them dudes that are getting grabbed off the street don't
Metaphorically.
Oh my god, dude.
We want to fight metaphorically for our freedom.
When I say we, I mean us in the upper echelons. We want to continue to fight.
Yeah.
Those dudes, like, your army is completely conscripted right now. Like, the biggest case that your people don't want to fight is the fact that you're dragging them off the streets
Right.
to fight, throwing them into the meat grinder.
What they want
That's
to
a big
fight
reason.
is being drugged into this fucking thing.
Yeah.
No, man.
Man.
All right, keep going.
thanking the president for
Have you
trying to
ever
bring
been-
an end to this
Have you
conflict.
ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I have
So at fault they say of J.D. Vance is he has not been to Ukraine yet. But does he really need to go to? And J.D.'s going to say why?
Yeah,
I
but
don't
Kamala
go.
never went to Europe or whatever the fuck she said.
Or the
so-
border.
Yeah, whatever.
But I've never been to Europe.
I've never been to Europe.
I don't understand your point.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that
So he's talking about all these senators that go over there, like Lindsey Graham, one of us probably
Yeah.
been there like 8 fucking times.
For the minerals.
For the minerals. But
Yeah, he takes them through all the sad. He gives them the
he doesn't show everything.
ASPCA pet. No,
Yeah, he
for
takes them
30
on that
cents a
tour.
day,
You could make.
Remember-
you could feed.
What was the movie with Seth Rogen and they went to North Korea?
Oh, the interview.
The interview. Remember where he takes them, shows
That's
them the
exactly
tour?
what it
He's
is.
like, oh, look at all of our full grocery stores. And they're
Yeah.
looking around like, oh, this looks great.
Nice.
But it's all just like,
When they find out it's
yeah,
fake
it's all
food.
bullshit.
It's all fake.
Those are the kind of
Great
tours
moment.
he's taking all these senators on. Oh, see here, very, very happy men to be fighting.
You've had problems bringing people into your military,
We have
and do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval
Look at the
Office
change in
of the United
Zelensky's
States
posture.
Yeah.
and attack the administration that is trying to prevent?
He's about to do one of these. Who's that character on Saturday Night Live that used to do this?
The Smeller Pits. Yeah.
That's what
Mary
I think
Catherine Gallagher.
every time I see that posture, that's what I think. That would be amazing if he did.
the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
Oh,
First of
geez.
all,
Here we go.
During the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have.
Oh,
nice
here it
ocean
goes.
Yep.
And don't feel now, but you will feel it
Right here, he says, you have beautiful ocean, so you don't feel the problems, but you will feel it.
Oh.
And then,
in the future.
Here comes the dawn.
You don't know that.
God bless
You don't know.
God bless, you will not
You
have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
not
You're in no position to dictate.
Yeah, you're here begging for
what
help.
We're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was
have the
saying-
cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're
serious,
playing
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You're not even wearing a suit.
Gambling with World War III.
What you're
You're
speaking about?
gambling with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
Every time I cash that check.
Have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
thank you,
You went to
Jesus.
Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
you're
America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a.
You almost
damn
said, "I
good
know."
chance of coming out okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said,
You been alone?
I got a couple hundreds of bees that say you're not alone.
Yeah, us and the entire European Union have given you hundreds of billions of dollars. What do you mean you've been alone? Whether all that money's made it to them, I don't know.
Sure.
But it's been given.
You haven't been alone.
You put a lot of countries in a precarious situation having to go against the largest nuclear superpower in the world by
T's
giving
and
you
P's
money.
and B's. They've received T's and P's and B's ad nauseum. Thoughts, prayers, and billions.
Like,
Nice.
alone?
You like that?
You been alone?
Yeah.
For real?
thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
Hell yeah.
We gave
For
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are
Thank you.
disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. You're
We're not
people-
playing cards.
You're running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefare, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means.
That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
He fucking hates Biden.
Yes.
He sure
That was
does.
with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In
Sheets?
fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins.
He tells the press what the headline
Be
is.
more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have
Oh,
to
Trump
change.
is hot right now,
Yeah.
dude.
If Russia breaks ceasefire, what if Russia breaks
This is good too.
peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war.
It's almost like
He
he's got
went
this
through it. He was
camaraderie with
accused of
Putin.
all that
It's like,
stuff.
we've been
Yeah.
through a
It had
lot.
nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter
He starts
Biden's
slipping back into
bedroom.
fucking 2019.
Yeah.
It's
Fucking,
disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make
it's,
it.
I just saw a thing with Clinton this morning, an interview with Bill Clinton. They were asking him about Vladimir Putin. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
They were asking him about dealing with Vladimir Putin. It was a Pierce Morgan interview from, man, I'm going to say a decade ago. And they're asking about his impression of Vladimir Putin, what it's like negotiating with him. And they got through it, and they were asking him, it got down to like, can you trust him? He's like, yeah, like he's stood by everything that we've put in place. Like, yeah, you
Really?
can trust him. Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting that Bill
Yeah.
Clinton, I mean, take it for what it's worth, but he said, yeah, you
He
can
still
trust
was
him.
president. I mean, whether you like him or dislike him, like he held that position
was long-
and he dealt with Putin.
Obviously, long before this
Sure.
Ukraine thing kicked off.
deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting
We'll give you
at all
cards.
thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll
Did
see
you?
what we can do
I don't think it's
That's
in your
it.
cues. There was a part too where the camera panned, and it's Zelensky's.
He's talking about where
press
he's saying
lady.
something, and
It's Zelensky's.
she's
pre-
got
and
her head in her hand.
She goes.
she's been the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States since I think 2019 or 2020.
it's great.
And she's just sitting there.
Just,
When the
fuck.
exchange between them was going on, she
Yeah.
was.
She's just
Yeah.
like, fuck.
Yeah. So, and I got one more. Somebody pointed this out. I do not know if it's true because I do not speak fucking
Oh, yeah, I know what you're
Slovakian
saying.
or whatever language not Putin, but Zelensky
Zelensky.
speaks. But Adam, go ahead and play A4.
Should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into the
So what this alleges is somebody calls him a kaika or chaika, however you say that, and which roughly translates to bitch in Ukrainian.
Yeah.
When J.D. Vance is sitting there talking to you. So the camera pans over to him. People that read lips say that, yeah, this matches. Obviously, there's no way of knowing for sure, but it was interesting. Enough people believe it's true. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pronounced Suka.
There you go.
That you say what problems we have.
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people
Right there.
You bring them on a
It's
propaganda tour, Mr. President.
Just like he sits there and says something kind of under his breath.
Well, if he says Suka, that's how you pronounce it.
He's saying sucker.
Suka.
Sucker.
Bitch.
Sucker.
Sucker
All of a
punk.
sudden he's Mr. T. I'm gonna get you, sucker.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
I've been watching very much
So-
this A-team of yours.
Was that the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
They didn't sign the deal.
no.
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 Okay.
What happened is they're supposed to go to lunch afterwards.
Sure.
And then
Oh.
you sign the deal. Trump told Marco Rubio and company, get him out of here.
Send him home.
Send him home before lunch.
Take him
Did you guys see
to
the Fox,
Scottsdale
the Fox
Airport.
headline
Put him on the private jet.
about the lunch?
No.
They so they kicked him out, and all of the Trump staffers are there, and here comes all the food. And so Trump goes, "All right, well, if you guys are hungry, here you go." And then Fox ran the headline: Trump's team eats Zelensky's lunch.
Okay, so
yeah.
so that's a little more anticlimactic than I thought it was going to be, because Adam, I could
Maybe
have
I built it
swore
up too
in your
much.
text you said that they like were throwing blows and they like hand fighting basically, and they ushered him out of the
maybe
White House, and I was like,
maybe I
no.
blew it up too.
What
I meant
the
like
fuck?
verbally bitch slapped him in
Oh,
front of the, like
you said bitch slapped him. And I was
yeah.
like, oh shit,
No,
they hit each
sorry,
other.
I should have been.
That
more
would've been
clear.
amazing.
Words have meaning. You know what I mean?
The words do have meaning. I'm gonna go
Words
back
have
and read
meaning.
your text right now.
Yeah.
No,
my
he did
bad.
say bitch slapped him.
I said bitch
That's what I
slapped.
thought.
I'll own it. Yep. Words
I was
have
like,
meaning.
holy shit,
But I was
Theme of the
watching
day.
it, so
they threw blows.
I knew what he was referring to, so
Yeah.
I didn't infer
I did
that.
see an AI edit that had this, and then all
It
of a
had the
sudden
bitch slap?
it broke out into a fight, and they're punching the shit out of
That was
it.
good.
It looked pretty legit.
That was funny.
Bitch slap heard worldwide. Wide. All right.
Worldwide. So yeah.
Damn.
After that, like I mentioned Lindsey Graham earlier.
Yeah.
Like he's been there, I'm gonna say 8 to 10 times to Ukraine. He's no bigger advocate for Ukraine and in particularly Volodymyr Zelensky than Lindsey Graham. And Lindsey Graham even came out afterwards like he needs to resign. Speaking of Zelensky, like
Wow.
you lost Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, kind of just like you would think, this issue splits right down the aisle, lefties and righties, and they both take polar opposite takes on this. I'm just honestly just really disgusted looking through all the social media and the Democratic talking points about how everybody is so anti-American and pro-Ukraine. I'm like, what fucking country do you live in?
Yeah.
I get it. You might not be on board with Donald Trump. Maybe you're even a little embarrassed by his actions, but to sit there and start talking shit about the country you live in that gives you the living that you have, gives you the wealth, gives you the freedom,
That
everything
allows you
have.
that allows you to talk shit about it without shooting you.
Yeah, like
fucking
it's
cutting off your hand.
unbelievable.
You're
Like,
welcome.
Everyone's flying Ukrainian flags, and I can't even remember what the fucking saying is, but like "Long live Ukraine" or some shit like that. They're putting it in their bios and shit. Are
Oh,
you-
yeah.
people out of your fucking
The
mind.
Facebook
Yeah.
filters and
You
shit.
live,
all
yeah,
that
you live in the
crazy
United
shit.
States of America.
Yep.
Have a little goddamn pride.
And maybe be a little bit more intelligent and recognize a psyop and a push to like
Well, and if
change
you're-
the mentation
And
of
if you're
the
that
country when you see
much of a bleeding heart, why don't you go enlist and fight
Move.
for him?
That's what all these people that
Go
are
fight the fucking
the
war
fireside
for him.
will buy your plane ticket.
That's what
Yeah.
everybody's been saying on social media. Is like, hey, I stand with Ukraine, blah, blah, blah.
Stand
I'm
with
like-
Yeah, you
that's why I
stand with
said-
him an ocean away.
That's why I said,
Chalk
you-
up,
I,
bitch.
can't- I tell everybody, I said, you can actually help them. Grab a rifle and go
That's
over.
right.
They'd love to have you.
Grab a javelin.
Yeah,
that's
fucking.
Trump gave him javelins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trump
Take
gave him a
off-
javelin and a plane ticket.
Yeah,
Get
take
the
off
fuck
your
outta here.
Obama blankets or whatever he gave you and pick up one of them Trump javelins.
Bye.
There's no awareness of actually what's going on, what's at stake.
Yeah.
Like everyone's saying that they need to become part of NATO. Like there's a reason we've never given Ukraine NATO's status.
It's just so funny how
Membership,
so he
sorry.
talks about 2014 about Putin invading Ukraine. Do you remember like through the whole beginning of Obama's deal before that, and even back when Clinton was in, like they talked about how fucking corrupt.
Oh, there were articles
Ukraine
about it.
was.
New York Times article. There were articles
It's a
about all of it.
cesspool
Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah.
corruption, and it's the
Oh,
one
yeah.
place in the world that's mega corrupt. And
Where do you
all
think
of
we
a sudden
launder our
now
money?
and now it's like,
it's
oh,
not anymore.
those poor people. We need to help.
Where do you
not.
think the United States washes its dirty money, dude? In Ukraine. Come on now. I
And-
did see
and
an
Haiti.
interesting take on this about how Vance and Trump set this up on purpose.
Yeah,
But like the bigger thing about the mineral deal, I guess, is that part of it is I guess we would get rights to mine minerals in Ukraine as part of the deal.
That was part of the deal. It makes no sense for Zelensky to sign that. Apparently, this is just rumored to be happening, but the New York Post reported that Zelensky met with a bipartisan group of congressmen, and in particular the Democratic ones were telling them, do not sign the deal. Stand up to Trump, don't sign the deal. And honestly, it makes no sense for Ukraine to, hey, here's 50% of our country's mineral rights in perpetuity, and we don't get
Right.
NATO membership and all. It makes no sense. I wouldn't sign it either if I was Zelensky.
Right.
It makes zero sense. But you're here to sign a deal.
right.
So I mean, I don't know. Like he was told by Democrats, don't sign
I
it.
did see that the logic in that was like, so it pleases Russia because Ukraine's not admitted to NATO.
Yep.
But it also puts American assets for the mining operations in Ukraine. So if Russia were to strike Ukraine, then it's a strike on America.
Well, that's what Trump says. He says,
You
hey,
know what I mean?
we're going to be there and we have interest. So yeah, again, if they strike.
So it's kind of beneficial.
Again, too,
there's
like,
your security guarantees, I guess.
Here's the other thing too. Who do you think is getting that money from Ukraine Minerals? I'm not getting it.
Oh, Lindsey Graham.
Are you getting it?
Lindsey Graham.
No, it's going to be given to some fucking
We're not
some
getting it.
company. They're going to get all the rights to buy it and sell. This is just a fucking scheme.
Where's my mineral money?
I get no mineral.
Well,
money.
part of me
I
wonders
get
though,
none
like,
of those minerals.
Trump met with Putin and Saudi Arabia and all that like ahead of time. So
Trump called Putin. Marco Rubio went to Saudi Arabia and met with.
but you gotta wonder, part of the deal,
Art of the deal.
how much of
Part of the deal.
this this outcome and this whole situation was the plan. Like how much of this is this thing that they're working? They have this plan. He's telling Putin, hey man, like I not necessarily I trust you, but like I respect what you've been through. You respect what I've been through. We have a mutual respect for each other. I got an idea. Hold my beer. Like, what do you think if we do this and we do this? I promise you it'll work out. Let's just see how it goes. Like, is this all planned?
I'm curious to see how it plays out because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, those are some really deep level moves that I'm convinced Trump's not capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean, but even like the press seeming like they're super aggressive off the like it almost
that
seemed,
part. Some of it seems staged.
but I'm seeing that whole thing almost seems planned of like
like an
hey,
episode
let's
of
be
House of
super
Cards,
aggressive
dude.
and call out how stupid he is. Now, granted, he kind of egged that on himself by giving the history lesson and talking more in his plea to the media as opposed to answering questions. But I wonder if that was meant to egg him on. If they were like, hey, just ask him these questions and he'll get fired up.
In real time, when I watched it, I felt like it was a bit of a plan for J.D. Vance to go after him. I'm like, that just was weird. It's like, I'm waiting till the end.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, right at the end, like, hey, last question. Oh, there's my cue. Jump in. So it seems set up
it was
at the
still
moment.
awesome though. It was still fun to watch.
I don't know how this plays out, obviously. I don't know. I don't think any of us know what he said to Putin, what the deal was. But, the fallout from this has been pretty huge. Like every leader in the European Union has denounced Trump and they all had this big meeting. They're all planning to get together and give money and weapons. The UK fucking Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he's even talking about putting troops in Ukraine for security. I'm like, dude, oh man, that's a fucking
really.
It's crazy, dude.
I don't think.
Yeah, wouldn't it be crazy if like this was the catalyst for like all the world powers realigning?
It could. It totally could.
I mean, hopefully we avoid World War III, obviously, but like, what if that was how we avoid it? Is we realign superpowers and we go, okay, well, I mean, hypothetical again. This is fucking crazy to even say, but like, let's just say we're like, hey, now we're aligned with Russia. UK, you can have Ukraine, and now it's us and Russia and whoever else we want to pick up against you guys.
Listen,
China.
It makes maybe it's
how fucking crazy would that be though?
It makes no sense to me. Like ever since the Berlin Wall came down, then 1991-ish, like we have intentionally frozen Russia out, put NATO up to their border. It's been a thing since Boris Yeltsin, time and time again. Like, don't expand anymore. Don't expand anymore.
Right.
We can't have this. This is our
stop
red line.
encroaching on
and
our
we
land.
just keep doing it and doing it. We've financially humiliated them. We've militarily humiliated them. We've put them in a really bad spot. And I'm in no way a Russian apologist, but it's made no sense since, the wall came down. They're no longer a communist country. Why they had to be our enemy. NATO is specifically an alliance to protect Europe against Russia.
Right.
After 1991, they were not a threat anymore.
Yeah.
So what is NATO doing exactly? Who are we protecting against?
Well, you get the money, all the programs that they have and the money that goes to certain places. You can't just dissolve that right away.
Honestly, to me, is just a fucking, and Russia sees it this way. It is an alliance against Russia from the entire Western, that's obviously Western Europe, but also the United States being the head of that snake. Like it is an alliance against Russia, and that's how they see it. So I don't understand why when you say, can we realign again?
Yeah.
Why not? Why do they have to be our sworn enemy just till the end of time? When does it happen?
Just because?
Because they tried democracy. They tried
we paint the fence red.
We tried
because we've always painted the fence red.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They tried to become a democratic country. They tried. We even went in there with our financial experts and we collapsed their fucking economy. Yeah. Hyperinflation fucking ruined them. So when they think about freedom and liberty, they think about like, oh yeah, my fucking kids were starving. Yeah. Like this country's never been more poor. That's what they think about.
Yeah.
So,
well, and for their perception, they're not wrong.
No, they're not. That's the thing. Is like you have to see it from both sides. Like when you really want to get down to the root of things and talk about the art of the deal, you have to understand the opposition's viewpoint, right? Yeah. So I could see us aligning with Russia, and it just doesn't make sense for them to be our enemy.
Right.
You know who probably is a bigger threat? China. And maybe we just get on board with the Russians, and bring them back into the fold. Like, hey, dude, we're sorry.
Yeah.
All that shit.
You know, let's work towards a better future.
I know we used to pick on you in high school, but we're adults now. Yeah. Like, let's be men about it.
We can admit that we were wrong.
Exactly. Let's do that. Yeah. I don't think we have to have the world at war against Russia, who is now conveniently aligned themselves with China, aligned themselves with North Korea and Iran. Like, I think it was Joe Biden who said in the 90s at some point that they were worried about Russia seeking new allies. He said, where are they going to go? They're going to align with China? That's never going to happen.
Yeah. Well,
and fucking here we are. Except it did. This is like in the 90s fucking Biden said this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see something different.
It's almost like it turns into one of those, like, the enemies of my enemies are my friends.
Yeah, totally.
Like, literally, that's...
And then they talk about, like, okay, Ukraine's not, we have no security alliance, and if we let Russia come in and take Ukraine, then they're just going to go in and wipe out Europe. That's what Russia's going to do.
Yeah.
Well,
why haven't they already then? You know what I mean? Like,
number two, to add on to that point, is everybody else in Europe is a member of NATO. They can easily invoke Article 5.
Right. You know
what
I mean?
Okay, now we are all against you, and U.S., you signed the deal, Article 5, we're invoking it. It's time to go to war against Russia. They invaded Poland.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
Now we have to be a part of it because,
Yeah, they were talking about the Budapest Accords or something like that, where we said, hey, Ukraine, you get rid of your nuclear weapons and we'll protect you. There was no legal security fucking binding contracts there. They did that on purpose. Like,
I think the only contracts that were signed said that NATO would not expand into Ukraine. Wasn't that a thing in the 90s?
There's never been any contracts. It's always like these gentlemen's agreements and these accords. Never anything binding like a NATO agreement, NATO membership. It's always just a handshake, a wink, a smile. Trust me. It's total bullshit.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, here we are. So let's see what's happened. All of European Union's siding with Zelenskyy. And if they're actually invade any of those other countries, then it's a real problem.
Yeah.
So let's see. But what happens? Say the UK puts troops in Ukraine.
Right.
And then Russia kills UK troops.
UK troops.
We have that agreement with the UK.
Right.
Now what? Now fucking what?
Zelenskyy,
well, if you're the UK military,
sign the deal, man.
Don't be a bitch, dude.
If you're the
just give
UK
us your
military,
minerals.
and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go station you in Ukraine," you're probably going, "Fuck."
Dude, but you gotta admit the best part. Don't tell me how we're gonna feel.
Yeah.
I know.
I know how we're gonna feel great.
You have nice ocean in between, but soon you feel. Don't tell me how we're gonna feel.
Yeah.
We're gonna feel just fine.
We're gonna feel nice and safe.
We're gonna feel nice and safe.
We're gonna feel good.
You don't have the cards. You don't have the cards.
Please, we don't play cards.
We've got a full house
it's a
here.
metaphor.
Aces over kings. What do you have? You have nothing. You don't have the cards.
You don't even have a pair.
Yeah.
See what I did
Right
there?
now, Joker.
Oh shit. Yeah.
See what I did there?
Ew.
Heyo.
You don't even have a pair.
So that was a little bit of news.
That was
happened.
intense, man.
That
It
was
was.
nuts.
It was entertaining to say the least.
I don't get what.
It's okay. I'm gonna let that one go.
Camping?
What?
Oh, I don't know what you were getting at.
So hey, if you guys are watching out there, you gotta tell me what the hell you think. I'm sure you're gonna fucking let us have it. Tell us how fucking stupid we are. So let us know in
Fill
the
comments with your hate and let us know how we're wrong.
Please.
All right, moving on.